Hello, movie lovers. Bob for Bob's Movie Review here. Today I am bringing you my review of a movie I just recently watched called Ant-Man and the Wasp. Be sure to click subscribe and click on the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload great new content. If you enjoy the video, be sure to show it some love and give it a like rating. So this one is rated PG-13, has a 1 hour and 58 minute runtime as an action-adventure sci-fi directed by Peyton Reed. It stars Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Laurence Fishburne, Michelle Pfeiffer, T.I., Michael Pena, Randall Park. There's a ton of people really in this one. So the first thing that I would really like to discuss about this is the kind of the timeline, where this one is releasing after Infinity War, but the majority of this movie takes place before Infinity War, and then sometime during or after Infinity War. It's a little bit confusing, and actually people, even though the post-credit scene was pretty obvious, people in the theater seemed confused. Maybe they hadn't seen Infinity War, I'm not really sure. But to me, I just don't understand why they did it this way. They want to intertwine the movies a little more or what, but I don't get why they released this after and then it takes place before. Even if you add in the post-credit scene, it would have made sense once you watched Infinity War. So to me, it just seems like Ant-Man and the Wasp should have released before Infinity War instead of kind of messing up the timeline. Paul Rudd back as Scott Lang, or Ant-Man. And well, I didn't like him in the first one too much. He wasn't as bad as I expected or a lot of people expected. Some people ended up liking him as Ant-Man. I just didn't see it, and I still don't see it. But I do feel like he fit a little better in this one. It was probably a little more his style of acting. So I just thought he was more believable as the character in this one than in the first one. My favorite from the first one, Michael Pena, is back. Unfortunately, I felt like he got less screen time, less jokes. He did have a few scenes that were pretty hilarious, but it just felt like he didn't really have, it just felt like he wasn't as well utilized in this one, really kind of taken away from the overall experience. I hate to say it, but even T.I. is above the character he played in this one. He has very little screen time, very few lines, basically just not really even used at all in this movie. So we start this movie with Scott Lang under house arrest for the events of Captain America Infinity War. Hank and Hope are both fugitives with the FBI after him, and Scott's house arrest is almost over, and he's just got a few days left, and he's trying to not break any rules so he can get off house arrest and go hang out with his daughter outside of his house. But of course, this is when he gets sucked back into the role of Ant-Man. First, I want to talk about the things I liked. I enjoyed this movie. It was a really fun movie. There was good comedy, good action, really cool effects. They did really cool things with the varying sizes from really tall to really big to somewhere in the middle, including Paul Rudd playing, a 5-year-old or 6-year-old or something at one point because of his size. And there's just all these fun things they did with the size and really cool effects. And like I said, overall, I really enjoyed the movie. Now I'm going to go into a bit of a rant. This movie just lacks a good villain, as so many Marvel movies have. They just don't seem to have that great of villains. Now, I don't understand why, if these comics books last so many editions, why is it that when it comes to the movies, they just seem to lack the villains? Like, what did they do in the comic books? Nothing? I don't get it. The villain in this doesn't make me think of a villain. It's not where okay, we've got the Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they're fighting this super bad person because they have to save the world or anything like that. You're just like, well, I hope everybody ends up happy in the end. It just, to me, it doesn't feel like this great action superhero movie. It feels more like everybody just needs to help each other. So maybe you guys will disagree with me. I don't know. My friend already disagreed with me. But I just want to make it clear that I did enjoy this movie. I'm just disappointed that the villain just doesn't feel much like a villain to me. And I think they could have done the story a little bit differently, and it would have been enjoyable. You know, they didn't even have to have a villain, and they could have made this story fine. You know, they're just, I don't know, maybe they're just trying to introduce the characters. I'm not really sure. So for a score on this one, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It was a fun movie with some great comedy, just really cool effects. And I hope you guys did enjoy the review. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. If you haven't already, subscribe for more videos. Check out suggested videos. Check out my website, BobsMovieReview.com. And I'll see you guys next time.